Bob in D.C., what's going on, Bob?
Hey, Eddie. Thanks for taking my call. Great show today.
Thank you, Bob.
I was out in California back in April, and coincidentally, Kix was playing at the Rainbow annual birthday bash there. So met up with a friend who's local out there, went to see Kix. I saw them numerous times way back in the day at the Bayou and Hammerjacks growing up in D.C. And I was astounded by how great they sound, PA issues aside. They had someone writing the sound that night that was having some challenges. But wanted to get your take on their longevity and how long you might see them still sticking around and playing live. And then also, later that night, I was partying with some mutual friends at a bar and met a guy named Chaz West, vocalist, who has a new project called Westbound, Roy Z on guitar. So I was checking them out, and I thought that their effort was pretty solid. So I wanted to get your take on that. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but I'm going to go ahead and hang up and listen for your comments.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob, very much. I know Chaz, good guy, good singer. See him all the time when I'm in L.A. You're right. He's put out a record on his own under the name Westbound. In full honesty, it is the label that put the record out puts out a record a day practically, and it's virtually impossible for those records to stand out. It just is. There are so many of them. They come out almost daily, and there just isn't as great as a singer is, as a singer and person Chaz is. It's very, very difficult, virtually impossible to get anything happening with a record like that. It's just, again, talking about giving it honestly, just the truth. It's just the truth. There's no mechanism in place for that record to have a chance, unfortunately. Whether it's good or bad is irrelevant. It's just impossible. Kix. How much longer do I see him going? Well, I don't really see any reason why they'd have to stop anytime soon. I mean, Steve Whiteman, their singer, is a guy that's taken tremendously good care of himself. If you have seen Kix in the last 10 years or so, Steve is like rail thin, ton of energy, still sings great, and that's not by accident. That's a guy that puts a lot of work into staying in shape. I think he told me he does that P90X program. You don't get to have that energy and be in that shape at his age by accident. I think Steve is probably in his mid-60s at this point. Could be wrong, but I think he is around at least early 60s. So when you got a guy like that who has like Jagger-esque, energy and stamina, you can keep going for a long time. Yeah, they had an issue recently with one of their guitar players, Ronnie, who had some issues with substances and went and got himself taken care of, and he's back in the band now. And Kix is a band that is 4/5 original, which is incredibly rare for 80s bands to have that many original members. Everybody in Kix is an original member except for the bassist, Mark, because the original bassist in the band, Donnie, did not want to be a part of the reunion. So they do very well. They've been at it for a very long time. It's funny. I remember when Kix first reunited because they were dormant for a long time. And at the time, it was like, well, we might do a couple shows a year, 2-3 shows a year, specific things. Now, for like 10 years, they've been playing constantly everywhere. So good for them. People love them. They do a great job still. And my feeling about bands retiring, it's always been the same. Stay and keep doing it as long as you want, as long as you can still do it well, and it's real, and it's respectful. There's still some semblance of original members, and, you can still pull it off without people saying, why are they still doing it? As long as it's respectful to the legacy, there's still some of the guys there that started it. You're still good. You're still actually playing all live. No reason to stop. So I don't see a reason why Kix couldn't keep going for a while longer. Junior in New York. Hi, Junior.
Hey, Ed.
What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. I'm from Long Island. My name is Phil Marino Jr. I used to go to Hammerheads on Long Island. I don't know if you remember it.
I'm in Jersey, so I didn't really spend much time on Long Island.
It actually changed to Sundance.
Mm-hmm. That I remember. I didn't go there, but I remember.
There was a couple others. There was the Back Seat, the White Rabbit, and yeah, they used to jam. I've seen Luca, Twisted Sister, the Good Rats, and Zebra.
Okay, so
Zebra,
do you have a question, Junior? Zebra's still around. They still play from time to time.
Really?
Yeah, not a lot, but they will play. They actually, they're all still based on Long Island, and they still play Long Island. I'll see them play at different venues out there. They played not too long ago, so they are still around. And then, of course, they were, even though Zebra is known for being a Long Island band because they're based there, the other roots and history of that band is New Orleans and Louisiana, and those are the two places where they play the most, although not too long ago they did 3-4 shows on the West Coast. They played L.A., they played the Whiskey, they played in Arizona, so they get out and play every once in a while when there's opportunities. They haven't made a new record in a really long time, but they're still around. And then the three guys, and by the way, that's another band that's still all original. And
I tell you what, they were excellent.
Yeah, they're still a great band.
Guys?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Guy,
and I also seen I don't know if you remember Soft White Underbelly,
which was Blue Oyster Cult, sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they were great.
All
and
right.
They still are.
Thank you, Junior. I appreciate it, man.
All right, you got a great show, guy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks very much. Yeah. Junior's talking about the Long Island rock scene from back in the day, which also Twisted Sister broke out of, and he mentioned Blue Oyster Cult there, and Zebra. There was definitely a scene there back in the late 70s, early 80s. But Zebra is still the same three guys. They're just not all that active anymore. They do different things individually, but they still come together and play, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 15 shows a year. Should remind Junior, I'll tell him right now, actually, if he's listening, the band's website, if you want to keep up with what they're doing, the band's website is thedoor.com. It's not, so it's a bit unusual because you would expect, Zebra the band or something like that. So if you want to find out what's going on with the band members or the band together, go to that website, thedoor.com, TheDoor, as in their biggest hit, Who's Behind the Door? Thedoor.com is the Zebra site. And Randy, those guys have been on this show from time to time over the years as well. All right, let me play you a few songs. Let me give you like 10, 15 minutes of music here. If you are on hold to get on the air and you want to continue to hold, you're welcome to. Otherwise, about 7:40 Eastern Time, we'll come back to you on the phones and give you the last 20 minutes with anything you want to hit me with in the world of rock. But a few more tunes here. I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks talking to and seeing George Lynch, who everybody knows from Dokken. George also has, speaking of supergroups, a new record coming out with the band KXM that features himself, Doug Pinnick, and Ray Luzier. Recently released a record under the name The End Machine with Mick Brown, Jeff Pilson, and Robert Mason. And George, who I saw in Austin, Texas when I was there on Thursday for a private event, and if you were listening to the Volume Show, you heard George come on with me for a few minutes. He did an interview with me about a week ago, which is probably on demand on the SiriusXM app. And he said he would absolutely love to make another Dokken record with the original band. That he feels that there's some unfinished business there. And he feels strongly that Dokken could make a new record that would stand up to their classic records, which is not an easy feat 30, 35 years on. But he feels strongly about it and would like to do it. Whether it happens is another story. But what you may not know is that Dokken actually released one song about a year ago with all 4 original members. And if you never heard it, here it is. It's called It's Another Day.